Hello, and welcome to Insights in Action with Orange 142, where we interview agency leaders and business owners to uncover the journeys, strategies, and insights that drive their success. At Orange 142, we're all about transforming brand stories into impactful digital experiences through innovative media and marketing solutions. And today, I'm very lucky to be joined by Jason Carter of 12 Legs Marketing. How's it going, Jason?
Yeah, it's going well. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, for sure. And Jason, I'd love to just start this off by understanding a little bit more about you and a little bit more about your agency.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been in business since 2015, and we originally started out as a video production company, which is my background. I worked for local TV stations as a sports anchor and reporter for a little over a decade. So, creating stories, telling stories, creating content has always been a part of my background. And when it was time to take a step away from television, we decided to start 12 Legs Marketing. The goal was to always provide high level storytelling to companies that maybe hadn't had that opportunity in the past. My business partner, who is also my wife, so a partner in both business and life, her skill set is set on the more digital marketing side of things. So, website design and development, SEO, SEM, these sorts of things. She worked in the agency world in LA. She worked for a big publisher in their marketing department, teaching their local properties how to properly market themselves. And so our two skill sets go hand in hand, right? Marketing needs content. And so that was the original thought behind 12 Legs Marketing, was to be able to bring these Fortune 1000, Fortune 500 level strategies to Main Street and give people the opportunity to succeed just like the other businesses, regardless of your budget.
Awesome. That's really interesting. And so I really want to start with the name. Why 12 Legs Marketing? What's the story behind that?
Yeah, it means a lot to our family. So the original founders of the company are two people and two dogs.
Okay.
So my wife and I and our two dogs, we've since grown. At one point, we were at 37 legs because we had an employee who had a three-legged dog. So we had an odd number of legs. Nowadays, I honestly don't know the answer as to how many we have, but we have 14 human employees, and then adding in all of their pets, you can do the math from there.
That's really interesting. I like that you guys included the pet. Um,
Absolutely. Very dog friendly. We've built a spot for them here in our office. So when they do come and visit, they've got a little hideaway
yeah.
for themselves as well.
I've been working remote for so many years, but I would love to have an office where I could like bring my dog in. I think that'd be great. Especially being at
Yeah,
home all day.
it truly helps take away some of the stress, right? When you
Yeah.
just need a break, you can go give them a little bit of love. They'll love you back, and always makes the day a little bit brighter.
Yeah, definitely. So you and your wife, like you mentioned, you guys started the company to get more time together. How has that origin shaped the company culture?
Yeah, we're very family oriented. We actually have a couple of husband and wife teams who are on our team. So we very much value the family time. We very much value the ability to refresh and really spend time doing the things that truly matter in everybody's life. Real work is important, yes, but it's not nearly as important as what goes on with the ones that you love. I think that's helped shape the way that we run our business and hopefully the way that we interact with our clients. So we've become very close with a lot of them, and it's been that kind of mindset, I think, that has helped us propel forward.
Yeah, for sure. And not everybody can do that, right? Not everybody can work with their significant other. You seem to do that really well. Obviously, you guys have been in business for 10 years now. Congrats on that. But
Thank you.
also, you seem to complement each other really well. She does strategy, you're really in charge of the creative process and whatnot. Is there any axioms of the like your partnership and your relationship that you guys follow, like principles that you have that, hey, in order for this to work, these things have to be true? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's been a it's been a learning process,
Yeah.
right? From day one, truly. Just like any marriage, whether an actual marriage or a business marriage, we've had to learn how each other operates. She is significantly more numbers driven and data driven and analytics driven, where that's something that I've had to learn. In television, it was okay. I've got to get this done for my 5 p.m. newscast, right? So I had these strict deadlines every single day. And so maybe it was a little bit more, okay, let's just get it done before we look at too much data.
Yeah.
And so we've had to learn how to work together when it comes to some of those things. And it's great to have the two kind of visions, right? When we come to a problem, she'll take a little bit more of the analytical standpoint. I'll take a little bit more of the, okay, let's just get this first thing done and we'll work up the steps. Again, they kind of work hand in hand, those two mindsets, to hopefully make the right decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, that's awesome. And I want to shift gears a little bit and talk a little bit about the work that you guys do. You work with a lot of obviously businesses like Main Street businesses, right? Is there a specific industry that you work really well in, or does it really matter? You guys kind of look at budget. What does that kind of look like?
Yeah, over the last handful of years, so we've started working a little bit more within the rental industry. And when I say rental, tables, chairs, heavy tools, equipment, these sorts of things, to try and help those businesses take the next step up. We work with every industry, like a lot of agencies, but that is one that we've become very passionate about over the last handful of years. We have friends who work within the industry, so we've been able to learn a lot about it. So that's something that we've started to focus on a little bit more over the last handful of years. And a decent chunk of our portfolio now is within that industry.
Yeah. And so what's your philosophy when it comes to making big budget creative accessible for smaller businesses?
So we work lean and mean, whether that's a one-man crew or a two-man crew. We're not working with huge teams when it comes to a lot of that creative. We utilize the resources that we have available. So the brains on our team, what do we think can work here? What's a good place to start? So we try and keep it more affordable when it from that perspective, right? The quality of the video, the quality of the final product, we don't believe takes a step down, but we try and do it from a manpower perspective, right? So we push through a little bit more and wear many hats when it comes to producing in order to be able to keep that more affordable for companies that, again, maybe wouldn't be able to afford creative.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that there's this misconception, right? That the smaller businesses think that to get really good creative, you need to have these huge, enormous budgets. So do you get like this like aha moment from clients when you can show them like, hey, this is what we can do with the budget that you outlined? Or even when they look at the final product, they're like, holy crap, you guys were able to do that? Wow. Just pulling from your experience working with in what you did, right?
Absolutely. We get the comment all the time, oh, okay, this isn't nearly as expensive as I had anticipated. And so even when we do go up against other creative agencies that are vying for projects, I'll usually ask the question, okay, to the client, what are some of the other numbers you've received, just out of curiosity? And I feel like some agencies and creative think that, okay, I own an expensive camera, therefore I can charge expensive things, right? Super expensive. And that's not the way to do it, right? We have expensive gear as well, but I'm not expecting one client to pay that off. That's not how it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be affordable to everybody. And yes, I've spent a lot of time, I've spent a lot of effort learning the equipment and making sure that, it does what it's supposed to do and everything is done the way that it's supposed to be done when it comes to creating a video. But again, that can be afforded by everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's great. I think there's so many businesses out there, and I would argue that the majority of them don't know that. So you guys have this on one end, it's like this tall task to get the word out about what it is that you guys can do. But on the other end as well, it's this kind of blue ocean, you know what I mean? Of just you just have all the leads possible. And once they see what your offering is, they're like, oh my God, why would I not go with you?
Yeah, and I think my background helps a little bit in that as well. Again, television, sometimes it's just, hey, I got to get this done. So it may be quicker and we can work in that. We don't need a 2 month timeline to create a really nice piece of content. And so even if you do have a tight deadline, we can still create high quality creative for you within that, again, because I used to work with 5 to 6 deadlines a day because that was just the way that it needed to happen.
Yeah.
We try not to extend. That's something else we hear a lot. Oh, I did this thing 2 months ago and now I don't even have my whatever product it was that they were looking to have done. And so we try and make it as lean and mean as possible.
Yeah. And so You mentioned like you guys have all of these tools that you work with and everything like that, but like with all of the tools and the platforms that are available now, where do you think that small businesses are still falling short in their marketing?
I think it's utilizing those tools, right? I think but that's part of the problem is there are so many options out there. And then once you start throwing in AI and all the possibilities that that brings forth, right? I feel like people are just so overwhelmed.
Mhm.
To be honest, I'm in the field and sometimes I'll read the newsletters and whatever that I subscribe to, and I'm like, man, like, where do you even start? That can be a
Yeah.
really difficult thing to do. And so we try and tell our clients, you got to focus on one thing, right? We'll get a lot who come to us who want SEO, SEM, video, photography, all of the things all at once.
Mhm.
Okay, let's start with one thing and then we'll move forward with the next. And I
Yeah.
think that's probably a good way to look at it for your marketing. If you're great at social media or you enjoy social media, start there. That could be a really powerful tool for a lot of businesses. If you have someone on your team who has some more knowledge on the back end of a website or whatever it is, maybe SEO is the way to go. You can do some very simple things to help there. But yeah, I think that's probably they try and do it all at once. And so what has the saying go, you jack of all trades, master of none,
Right.
or whatever it is. And I feel like that's a lot of what happens when it comes to marketing is people try and do 5 or 10 things all at once, plus run their business, which is ultimately the
Yeah.
important part. And so I feel like that's probably one of the downfalls most have is just trying to do it all.
I think that's a big thing because there's owners of small businesses that are used to doing it all. That's what they do. And I think that's the inherent value of an agency like yours or any agency really that, hey, we specialize in this thing and we do it really well. And so you don't have to worry about this when you work with us. Jason, this has been awesome. Thank you so much again for being on. Where can people learn more about you? Where can people learn more about 12 Legs Marketing?
Yeah, absolutely. You can check out our website, 12legsmarketing.com. We have our website work, our video work, our photography work on there as well. And then, of course, social media channels, 12 Legs Marketing, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. We share some of our video content, some of which has been nominated for Emmys and also won Emmys. So if you want to go check those out, just give them a look.
So cool. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's been my pleasure.